Hello, everyone. I just thought of a nickname for y'all so that I could say hello and then the nickname instead of hello, everyone. But it is brilliant. It is genius. It has to do with P Valley. So I'm not going to use it because there are a lot of talentless people out there who like to steal ideas. So I'm not going to say it. I need to come up with a different name for my listeners. Um, and I intend to really branch away from exclusively covering P Valley. I really want to cover a lot more um, current events and shows and movies. And so that's why that nickname is not really good. But I will work on coming up with something because I'm like, I don't know. There's something about the hello everyone that kind of gets on my nerves. So thank you for your patience and for staying with me. And one of the reasons why I'm recording an episode is because I need to put out a lot more content. Every single year, I need to put out more and more content because when the Spotify Wrapped comes out at the end of the year for podcasters, it is so much fun to see the growth. And in order for me to see that growth, I need to put out episodes. That's pretty shameless and pathetic for me to say. That's why I want to record episodes, but it's the truth. So I'm not going to get into personal life updates too much slash at all on this episode. I'm just so happy I'm recording. I am obsessed with the show Harlem. I have done zero recaps, zero episodes about the effing show that I am obsessed with because I am so busy. And then it's also so fun to just enjoy content as a fan and a fan alone, not as a fan and a podcaster. So I haven't covered that. I really wanted to do an episode on You People, the movie You People, and I might. But I don't even like saying these things because, I don't really follow through a lot of times. But You People, that Netflix movie, You People with Jonah Hill and Lauren London, it was very disturbing for me. So I wanted to cover it and give my 2 cents. And just on the other things I've been watching and all of that. So we will see. Like I said, it's still the first quarter of the year and I need to come hard so that my Spotify Wrapped makes me feel very good. And I checked my YouTube views and it said I'm at, I think, 87,000, like 87,121 or something views. And that was nice to see, so it's like I do it for the numbers. You know how some people do it for the stands? I do it for the numbers because I don't think I got any motherfucking stands. So people wouldn't stop tweeting about Swarm, the new Netflix show Swarm, and I love Twitter for putting me on to pretty much to a lot of the stuff that I watch, a lot of the things that I consume. Not just watch, also articles that I read and just news because I wouldn't have known about Swarm. So I follow one of the writers, one of the people who wrote on Swarm, and then TMZ had a story about Swarm today. But other than that, I wouldn't know what the hell's going on with a lot of um, just trending topics without Twitter. So shout out to Twitter. So it's people were talking about Swarm way too much. People were talking about Chloe Bailey's sex scene so much. I said, you know what? People are just doing too much. Like, there's too much out there about this show. I need to see for my own self so that I could make my own opinions. And so that's what I did. I watched episode 1 and I hope that I have the stomach for all of the episodes because if it's too gory and bloody. I don't know. I don't know if I can make it. But anyways, Dominique Fishback, who plays Andrea, also known as Dre. All hail the queen. I have to stan. So after I watched the episode, I knew I had to do my Googles because I was confused, and I liked that I was confused. I wanted to get to the bottom of the messages in the first episode. I wanted to kind of find out what all of the little nuggets were, and because I was lost, a bitch was lost. Like I was, yeah, there was a lot going on. And thankfully there is this thing called Google. So I did my Googles, and I want to start out by reading an excerpt from an article that I read. And so the excerpt says, the horror thriller follows a young anti-hero named Dre, Dominique Fishback, who has an all-consuming obsession with a pop star named Nyjah, rumored to be inspired by Beyonce, and who very well may be the very first on-screen female black serial killer, something addressed by Swarm co-creator and showrunner Janine Nabers, who worked on HBO's Watchmen and with Glover on Atlanta during the Q&A portion after the premiere. Quote, I think as Americans, we're so conditioned to seeing white men be angry and giving them the space for violence on film and TV, Neighbors started, referencing Netflix's Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, which was lauded as, quote, one of the biggest shows that Netflix has ever done. She revealed Glover was encouraged to make Dre a serial killer after reading a tweet by a black woman. He follows, quote, he just loves her tweets. She was like, why does every black woman on TV have to be a therapist or a funny best friend or someone looking for love or a teacher? We can be crazy. We can be serial killers too, Neighbors said. So that excerpt that I just read is from the Daily Dot's article titled Swarm Review, a Beyonce Stan's Villain Story Originates at South by Southwest, which is SXSW. Okay, so after reading that, actually, I didn't know too much about Swarm. And then when I saw, spoiler, obviously if you're listening to this, spoiler alert, when I saw the first murder towards the end of episode 1, I just thought, not only did I not see that coming, but that isn't what's shown at all on any TV shows and movies. So I was like, I love this. I knew right away that Swarm was doing something that's never been done. And then I had my confirmation, and I just thought, this is important. This is really showing that black women are not a monolith, even more than all of the other roles we've covered to date. A black woman serial killer, brilliant. It's like I didn't know I needed this until this show came out. So now I will get into the episode, and I'm also going to read a few comments. I did some research, but not too much because, you already know the drill. You already know. So now the show takes place in Beyonce's hometown of Houston in 2016. And Dre, is a stan of Nyjah, who is clearly Beyonce. Beyonce has some psycho-ass fans, which I've mentioned before. Facts is facts. I said what I said. Dre embodies Beyonce's psycho fans, and I think it's important for us to have shows and movies that discuss how mentally unstable some fans can be, because it's a very real thing, and I feel like it's not talked about enough in the mainstream. All we do is we see, or I see, so many stories throughout the years on TMZ over fans breaking in to various celebrities' homes and celebrities getting restraining orders, and it's very prevalent. And I do feel like it definitely deserves to be talked about more. So back to the episode, Dre gets a Discover credit card so that she could pay $1,800 each for standing room concert tickets to Naja's concert. This show was foreshadowing the fucking Renaissance tour. This show, Swarm, is ahead of its goddamn time, because these Beyonce Renaissance tickets are out of control. And I like to buy my tickets on StubHub last minute. So when I say last minute, I like to buy my tickets anywhere from a few days before a show to like 3 weeks prior. And I just keep on getting tickets for under face value by doing that, because the sellers are just trying to get rid of the tickets at that time. And so they're not really going to be sticking to their crazy prices, their markups. And that's what I plan on doing when it comes to Beyonce. And I'm really excited about some books that are coming out this year too. Okay, back to the freaking show. So we hear bees buzzing or swarming in the background, and it's irritating, just, it's irritating to listen to, but it's really, cues for us as viewers. It's symbolism. And so people say like the bees kind of represent Dre flipping, like kind of going crazy a little bit when we hear that sound. Now we see Khaled, played by, I'm gonna butcher his name, which is embarrassing. I think it's Damson Idris. We see him hitting Marissa, played by Chloe Bailey, from the back. A lot of people just lost their minds over Chloe Bailey's sex scene. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be like Monsters Ball. This is going to be straight up porn. This is going to be the most graphic sex scene I've ever seen in my life. TMZ also said it happens towards the beginning, or it starts off, episode 1 starts off with the sex scene, which is incorrect. It did not start off with the sex scene. It was at least a few minutes in, but I was like, okay, this is going to be really graphic porn. I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am here for a good sex scene. So I was like, okay, I was just bracing myself. I was clutching my pearls for what I was about to see. I then turn on Swarm and I see nothing. I see nothing. I don't know why Twitter erupted. I'm confused. And what was crazy is this one tweet I saw. This guy said he watched the sex scene 45 times and Chloe was having sex, actual sex. And there was a few people who were saying that Chloe was actually having sex. I'm confused again. Like, this show is about stans and stan culture. Are you a stan? Like, what are you exactly to watch Chloe's sex scene 45 times where nothing is taking place, really? Like, we see a lot more than that in a music video. So I don't know. I'm not going to be as unhinged as I can be, but all I'll say is it's disappointing how stupid people are sometimes. It's disappointing when people see a sex scene and they're like, this was actual sex. Like, do you understand Hollywood? Do you understand that these studios have everything to lose? if they violate laws, there is porn and then there is simulated sex. Not the same thing. Legitimately not the same thing. And I also want to know why you are speaking on authority when you say that the girl was fucking for real. Like, I don't know. I don't know. All I'll say is I was expecting a lot more than what I saw. And I will say that Damson Idris, when he smiles at Dre, like, I was obsessed. I became obsessed with him. I said, this man is gorgeous. This man is hot. This man is sexy. I need to date this man. I need to be with this man. Like, I am into him. When he is smiling at her, I was like, I couldn't remember the last time a man looked that handsome and had that flawless of a fucking smile. Lori Harvey, let me tell you something about this bitch slash. Let me walk it back. Let me not. All I'm gonna say about Lori Harvey is, for a while, Lori Harvey has been the one person that I want to trade places with for a day. And while she's out here taking down, sucking and fucking the hottest men in Hollywood, my stance remains the same. I would love to trade places with Lori Harvey for just one day. Because, woo, I mean, please teach us, bitch. Teach us any fucking book or Patreon or whatever you put out on how you run game. I am subscribing. I am paying. You could have all my coins. I know it has to do with genetics, obviously, but this Lori Harvey bitch, or this Lori Harvey woman, like, every man she dates is completely possessed and obsessed with her. She is doing something right that goes beyond the aesthetics. Like, she is breaking it down in the bedroom. And Lori, just do us a favor. Just give us one tip, bitch. Just one. Damn. All right. So back to the episode. You know, I saw that Damson Idris looking so fucking sexy. I'm sorry, I had to kind of go off a little bit because goddamn. Chef's kiss. So then Khaled, is it Khalid? No, Khaled, I guess. Khaled makes fun of Dre for being a good girl, and he assumes that she's a virgin, and he calls her a cult member for standing Naja, which is just mean. You know, these stands, they really just, they don't want to hear none of that, you know? So then there's a scar on Marissa's wrist, and I feel that maybe it hints that maybe Marissa tried to harm herself before. It's unclear. It is really sweet that Dre kisses the scar. And then we hear bees again as Dre shows up for work looking like she crawled out of a dumpster. And at this point in the episode, I think that Dre has special needs based upon her appearance and her demeanor. It's just like when she walked in on Khaled having sex with Marissa, she just stood there and watched. Like, she wasn't embarrassed at all. Then she goes to work looking crazy. And so it's like her brain just functions differently. She does things that are odd. And that's before we find out she's a serial killer. So then Khaled, I mean, I typed out Khalid, Khaled, but I keep saying, like, I keep thinking DJ, anyways, not DJ Khaled, but I keep thinking Khaled. I want to pronounce it differently. Like, it's too late for me. It's 11:30 p.m. That's going to be my excuse. Okay. So then when Naja drops a surprise album and music video, Dre is inspired to, Khaled offers dick to Drea when he sees her at work. She really is not feeling him at all, so she was like, I'm good. And then when Naja drops a surprise album and music video, Dre is inspired to get herself some dick. just not Khaled's. So she walks up, she goes to the club in a dress, cleavage out, confident as hell. She's on her alien superstar vibe. And she walks up to Rory Culkin, and because I don't remember him having a name at all in this. So his real name is Rory Culkin, and she goes home with him. And then in the morning, Rory tells Dre that their sex was amazing. And like, Rory's comment makes me question if Dre was a legitimate virgin or if Khaled was just assuming that she was a virgin. We don't know, or at least I don't know yet. But I'm guessing the sex was not amazing if she was virgin. Now, we see Rory Culkin's dick. I knew about this because of a TMZ post, and I thought like it was going to be some like Sex Life, the first season of Sex Life, which I couldn't really get through that show. I watched like the first 3 episodes, but in one of the episodes, the main character has this huge ass dick, and then we find out, it's a fake dick. But I was expecting like a hog, just because like TMZ was kind of doing the most, talking about he had his real dick out and shit. And I rewound and I watched that part 2 times because I was like, let me, like, where's the big dick? I just need to confirm. It's like, don't tell me somebody is nude if they're not packing heat. I don't need to know. So as far as Rory Culkin is concerned, I don't understand the genetics in the Culkin family, how all of these kids look like twins. I'm like, it's weird to me, like some Children of the Corn shit. Like, how is it that some siblings don't resemble, but the Culkins are all absolutely identical, same fucking eye color? Like, shit's weird. Just the whole fucking, they all could switch faces. They all could like borrow each other's IDs and shit. It's odd. So then Dre is texting Marissa, and after, Marissa obviously died and overdosed. I'm not breaking down everything that happened like I used to do originally way back. And to see Dre texting Marissa and then finding Marissa's phone and texting herself back from Marissa's phone, it was so beautiful. It was so moving, really brilliant storytelling. I just love whenever I see a character texting someone dead in a show or a movie, because it always just tugs at my heartstrings every single time. And it just makes me wonder if I would do the same thing. So Andrea is kicked out of Marissa's funeral, and I have no idea why. So as I was watching, I was like, okay, these are siblings who don't look alike. They aren't Culkins. They aren't the Black Culkins, but they're sisters, biological sisters. And then dude kicks Andrea out and says that Marissa's family only wants her family there. And I'm like, okay, I guess they were besties. I don't know. That's unclear to me, and it's annoying because they had such like sister vibes, but I guess they're just best friends. So then we see that Khaled is still trying to smash. He's nearly leaning in for a kiss with Dre when he's sitting on the couch with Dre. Dre lets Khaled know that she isn't feeling him by bludgeoning him to death, and then eating cherry pie with her bloody ass fingers from his fridge right after. So I heard that Dominique received a round of applause from the crew and cast after she shot her murder scene because her acting was so strong. I swear we got a young Viola Davis on our hands. She deserves all the awards. Someone other than Zendaya needs to pick up some trophies. No shade. And I think Dominique might be the bitch to do it. I mean, what? I am excited to see this woman perform in this series. And now I'm curious to see her other work because god damn, she was great. Ugh, so fucking talented. So now I have a few comments that were on a YouTube that I would like to read for y'all. Because it's always fun for me to research, kind of find the words, let other people express what I can't express, and especially when I don't know what the hell's going on. So, anyways, first comment is from a user named Dante Makes Beats 7631. He said, I've been thinking about the layers to Dre killing Khaled. Khaled teased Dre about being a virgin. He wants to be her first sex partner, but ends up being her first kill. So he takes her virginity, but not the one he intended. Khaled kept calling Dre cherry pie. After she kills him, she eats a pie with her bloody hands. Blood is red like cherries, cherry pie. Actually, I think earlier in this I said she ate a cherry pie, which is dumb because I did watch the show. So sorry. I think I made that error. It looked like a pumpkin pie or a sweet potato pie. Second comment was by Miss.Porsche 8816. She said, I love this show. As usual, Donald Glover does not disappoint. I think Dre has a dissociative identity disorder going on, which is why she transformed when she went to the club. One of her personalities is probably on the spectrum. One is a murderer and the other is a nympho. Kind of reminds me of Zayn's novel Nervous. I think she had something to do with Marissa's death, LOL. I think this artist she's obsessed with is possessing her, like how Beyonce's fans go crazy for her. I mean, Beyonce's fans. Woo. Woo. Beyonce's fans. Her stans. I think people with the worst fans gotta be Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and Selena Gomez. Like, y'all just, wow. Leave me speechless every time. Okay, next comment was by TJESSAMY. I don't know how to say that to Jessamy. Said, binge the whole thing with the wife last night. One of the most weird, entertaining, and interesting shows I've watched in a long time. Shout out to Danny Glover. Amen. It was already weird as hell from what I saw. So I do believe it's weird, entertaining, and interesting. And then the last comment that I have here that I'd like to read for y'all is by Tanya Smith, 1917. She says, the humming of the bees is foreshadowing, like the sound of that bad violin in Psycho. She's unbalanced and it pinpoints the switches in her head. And you are right. She wants to be like the queen, but she's a nobody. But when she dresses in those clothes, she is representing the queen, hence part of the swarm. So, I hope, end quote. I hope that you guys were able to stomach this episode in its entirety. It's not easy. It's not easy to listen to a solo podcaster, even though there are several. So thank you for your support, and let's see what happens. I'm always the piece of shit asshole talking about everything I'm going to cover in all the episodes I'm going to record. It's like I could never learn. Part of me says, I'm going to do this. I'm going to record about this because I hope it'll hold me accountable, and it never does. So I don't know if I'm gonna be covering more of this series on the podcast or any other series that I hope to, but there's one way to find out, as I always say, when y'all subscribe. So thank you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.